Good morning, zoners. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to your first bit of Tony time for 2 weeks. As I explained in a video earlier in the week, I was not feeling very well last week at all. Absolutely not in the mood for sitting in front of a camera for 30 minutes, but happy to say a lot better now. So hope you're all doing well. Let's see, what have I got here? I've got all my notes here, and I've got 2 weeks worth to catch up on, so I'll try not to go at like 90 miles an hour. First of all, Chris, loving the Western thread. Magnificent Seven was an absolutely superb choice. I was curious, I have to admit, while you were scrolling through, or while your TV was scrolling through the films and trying to pick one, there was one title that absolutely caught my eye straight away. I've managed to get a copy of it. It's called Boss Nigger. There, I've said it. You'll probably never see me on YouTube again now I've said that, but that's the title of it. It's a blaxploitation western. I have no idea what it's about, but I have managed to get a copy, and I will be taking a look at that, as I've got a bit of an interest going at the moment in blaxploitation movies, as you will see a little bit later, or maybe on the review video, which I'm going to be filming straight after this to be uploaded next Saturday. I mean, it all started with the movie Shaft in 1971, and there were loads of them, absolutely loads of them in the 70s, up to about sort of 76, 77. And I've seen a couple of them and absolutely loved them. Colourful, violent, just really good movies. So this movie that was on, as I say, that list that your TV was choosing a western from, it obviously, with that word, it just stuck out straight away. So as I say, I will be taking a look at that. And also Pale Rider, cracking choice. I think that was last week's. I saw this a long time ago, and it is a brilliant Clint Eastwood movie. You just can't go wrong with it. I do need to take in at some point the Dollars trilogy. I must be the only person who enjoys the odd western who hasn't seen the Dollars trilogy. I've seen about the first 10 minutes of A Fistful of Dollars. I can't remember why I abandoned it now, but I have got all three of them, so I will be taking those in at some point. I'm really looking forward, by the way, to your review of Rob's Nostalgia Project 35mm box set. Have you actually had those through yet? If so, I would love to see what they look like, because I'm on the cusp of actually ordering a set of those, mostly for straw dogs, and also for the Odeon idents that you get on there, which as soon as I saw the pictures of them, it takes me instantly back to my cinema going days of the 1970s and early 80s. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you think of that. I know for a fact it is going to be worth getting, because this guy does not do things by halves. He does an absolutely magnificent job. And the posts that he puts on detailing exactly what he's doing, I don't know how this guy's got the patience to do it, but I'm so glad that he does. The Evil Dead box set, which I purchased from him quite a few months ago, you just can't fault it. For value for money, it is just unbeatable. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you think of that, if indeed you've watched it yet, particularly the Straw Dogs tape. That's aged it. Dave Lowe, the latest Doormat Diaries featuring Dexter the Cockapoo. Absolutely love it. Oh my god, he is so adorable. That is a delivery that I could absolutely live with. I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, a dog turns a house into a home. Chris, you'll agree with this, because I believe you've got two of them. Nothing ever betters the welcome home you get from work than you get from a dog. It's just, you can't match that with anything. And obviously the thing I love about dogs the most is they just want you. They don't want anything from you apart from food, a walk, and the company. They just want you. They don't want anything from you. So yeah, look forward to seeing more little movies of Dexter, Dave, and also any more Doormat Diaries that you've got of actual movies. Dave Oliver, your burning review. Excuse me if I keep looking to the side there, I've got all my notes on screen here. I do agree that The Burning was a little bit of a rip-off of Friday the 13th. It was a hell of a lot more violent than that. But yeah, it was very similar. But I mean, in the early 80s, you couldn't move for a Halloween and Friday the 13th rip-offs. My Bloody Valentine, The Prowler, He Knows You're Alone. There were so many of them. Terror Train, Hell Night. But The Burning kind of stood head and shoulders above a lot of them due to that infamous scene that you were talking about with the fingers. I believe that's originally what got it banned. I mean, I still remember it coming out on VHS, and I remember the Thorn EMI VHS box and renting it from a video shop called Glyn Williams. Jason, you'll remember this. Glyn Williams in Bargates, who was quite happy to put movies on for you in the shop to see whether you'd like them. He'd put them on for a few minutes and, you know, you sure you want it? Yeah, absolutely. He was a lovely old guy. Obviously, it's all gone now because Bargates has gone. Everything's pretty much gone. But yeah, The Burning, I'm digressing again. It had serious censorship issues. It was banned for quite a few years. He got caught up in the video nasties scare of the 80s and was taken off the shelves for quite a few years. Eventually got released uncut and is now pretty much freely available. Back then, though, when it was banned, the only way you could get it is on import, very expensive import. I remember buying, and I believe I've still got it somewhere upstairs, the Japanese imported version of it, which again was completely uncut. There was nothing special about the Japanese version apart from the fact that it wasn't cut. And I remember getting that, and I'm fairly sure I've still got that. So if I can find it, I'll be showing that off at some point. 2.5 out of, was it 2.8 out of 5? And you said it was a bit slow. I do agree it concentrates more on story than on the gore, but when the gore hits, my God, it hits you by the bucket load. But I was surprised by that low mark from you. This is what I love about your reviews. Just when I think I've got you sussed out, you throw a curveball and it's like, what? Seriously? So yeah, you did surprise me with that one, but it is a classic, and I think even you regard it as a classic. It's just obviously not one of your favourites, unlike the prospect of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which is smashing the box office in Mexico, which I think you mentioned in one of your videos. I am very much looking forward to this. I took a look at the official clip that they released, and judging from that, I get the feeling I'm going to have some serious problems with this one. The clip basically shows a naked guy hung up from the ceiling and being flogged with what looks like a scalp, and it is nasty, it is horrible, and that was what, 1.5 minutes? So God knows what the other 90 minutes is going to be like. I know you're looking forward to it. I don't think it'll get that wide a cinema release. I agree with you on this. It's one of those movies that it will hit sort of independent cinemas and probably massive cinema chains that have got like 500 screens. It'll probably sort of creep in there. But smaller cinemas like the one on the Isle of Man and possibly the one in Burton, I can't see it getting a release. So I think we're going to have to wait for the Blu-ray, which, by the way, I think you said something about it being in February. According to Amazon, it's April the 17th. So I shall almost certainly be purchasing that, almost certainly, or if it's available for streaming, which I guess it will be, I'll take a look at it on that. But I'm very much looking forward to it. Just curious to see what I'm actually going to make of it. I mean, they've already greenlit, as you said, a sequel. So it obviously, with it doing so well, they've obviously got onto the executives and said, "Oh, look at this, it's doing brilliant. Yep, you can have a sequel." So really looking forward to that. Let's see, what else have I got here? Oh God, Dave Oliver, still on you. Skinamarink, the review. I think you possibly just saved me 100 minutes of my time. I have to say, you've not done a very good job of selling me on that one. I'm almost curious to take a look at it to see what I actually make of it, because I usually like these slightly sort of obscure movies, sort of Blair Witch Project type things, found footage. But from what you said, this is unbearably tedious. But I'm not going to say because I've not seen it. But I've seen the trailer, and as I've said before, in a trailer you can make anything look good because you've only got to put sort of a minute and a half, 2 minutes worth of decent scenes in there to get people interested and get them into the cinema or get them streaming it or watching it on Blu-ray or whatever. Um, I will take a look at it when I've got 100 minutes, but I think based on your recommendation, I'm probably going to give it about half an hour, and if it's not shaping up to be what I think it is, I'm probably going to turn it off. We shall see. But yeah, you there was not much love for that movie from you, so I'm guessing it's not up for repeated viewing. Oh God, shame because you were really looking forward to that one. This is another one. But isn't it usually the way? You get all this hype, and I hate to say it, maybe this is going to be the case with Winnie the Pooh, I don't know, that we're really all looking forward to it. It looks absolutely amazing. Then all of a sudden, it'll land and it'll be like, oh God, really? Is that it? But we'll see. We could be wrong on that one, as long as it's not another Skinny Marink, whatever it is. So, oh God, who we got next? Jason Kerr, our very own Ginger Ninja. You reported that A24, the studio A24, is turning the online series The Backrooms into a feature film. I watched one of the episodes of this quite a while ago, and it was as creepy as hell. For those of you that don't know, and from what I can remember, it basically shows a youth wandering through what looks like an underground bunker and basically seeing things moving in the shadows. Again, it's very Blair Witch-ish, but it was very, very creepy. I got to the end of it and wasn't really sure what it was I'd just watched. I think the episode I watched was probably about 7 or 8 minutes, so it wasn't very long. I believe it's part of a series. I never actually progressed with it, so I don't know what the score is with the rest of it. Whether they've got enough material to turn it into a movie is another matter, but I would definitely take a look at it. If that little 6 or 7 minute episode was anything to go by, it's got potential, definitely. And your Chopping Mall review, your Tubi review, this is one 80s movie that I've never seen. I get the feeling I'll have problems with the spiders bit, because I'm a bit of an arachnophobe, despite loving movies like Kingdom of the Spiders, Kiss of the Tarantula, Giant Spider Invasion, all that kind of thing, arachnophobia. I'm a hopeless arachnophobic, so I will squirm a lot at that girl crawling with spiders. But it's one that I do want to take in. I believe it's streaming on Shudder over here at the moment, so that's probably where I'll get it. But you mentioned the Blu-ray. It's not available in Australia. It's not available in the UK either. But there are imports that you can get. Let me get this right. There are, I believe, a Spanish and a German import, which retail for about £15. I'm not sure what that is in Australian. Is it Australian dollars? But I will watch it on Shudder, and if I enjoy it, I would have no problem with ordering a Spanish or a German import. It's basically just the cover art that's different, and obviously the titles are in German, but not on the actual DVD or Blu-ray. So I wouldn't have a problem with that. But yeah, it's one that I would definitely be interested in based on your review, absolutely. So keep them coming, I'm loving those. Jason, our very own Jason, thanks for the picture of me puking up into the loo last night, by the way. That was very much appreciated. It wasn't quite like that, but it wasn't too far from it. Cocaine Bear, great artwork in it. You got it, but I mean, you put, if this was available, take two. If this was available to buy on Blu-ray right now with this cover art, I'd buy it. I'd want the case to be red or black too, and not blue, obviously to match up with the cover art. This is a movie that I almost certainly will just buy on Blu-ray, because there is no way that I'm not going to enjoy this. It looks an absolute hoot. I've championed this movie for a couple of months now, since I first heard about it, and it is now starting to catch on. I saw a TV advertisement this week advertising that it's been released in cinemas sometime during the course of February, I believe about the 23rd, something like that. So it's getting a lot more coverage now. But I still say that trailer is one of the best ones that I've seen in ages, and it absolutely made me want to see it. And also basically the details of it, which I read sort of a couple of months ago. You just read that synopsis and you think, how can you not love a movie with a story like that? But yes, that is almost certainly one that I will buy on Blu-ray, because I just know it's going to fit in very nicely with my Animal Attack collection, which I'll have to show off sometime. I've got quite a few of those. And loving your Saturday afternoon matinee threads, by the way. There wasn't one yesterday, was there? I can't remember. I've not really checked Facebook over the last day or so. But yeah, loving that. I love to watch movies on a Saturday afternoon. I normally go, being the pensioner that I am, for a nap at about 2 o'clock. I wake up about 4, and the first thing I'll do is I'll put a movie on. Now, for the last few weeks, it's been the Rocky series because I'm determined to plough through those. But yeah, Saturday afternoons for me was movies like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Candle Shoe, all sorts of stuff like that. Just family movies that never age. So yeah, I'm loving those, mate, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got coming up on that thread. Lee Barber, my colleague Lee Barber at work, you posted a video of let me get this right, the ABC Cine Bowl in Hanley. It is no longer there. Let's see. One of the photographs was showing a movie called The Cracksman, starring Charlie Drake, which would date that picture to about 1963, which I think is when that movie was released. It looks an awesome place. I think you've talked to me about this before. This was your local cinema, if I remember right, when you lived over there. And it looked an amazing place. Why did they let it go? Why on earth would you let a gorgeous thing like that go? The first half of the video was absolutely brilliant. The second half was heartbreaking. All of these pictures, very much like the Burton Odeon. I've seen pictures of that in disrepair. The way it looks now, after it was closed, 20, 30 years ago. And it's heartbreaking to see a gorgeous building like that just fall apart. And it was a beautiful thing, especially when there was a picture of the plans for it, and it looked like something out of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It looked gorgeous, and the interiors were just beautiful. The bar, the bowling alley that was attached to it, it looked amazing. So I'm not surprised you missed that. I really do, but it's such a shame to see buildings like that abandoned. I'm just going to up the notes. Just bear with me 1 second. Callie and Guy. Really enjoyed the Netflix versus Disney video. Thanks for the shout out, by the way. I'm just about to start season 2 of Cobra Kai. So I have no idea who that person is you say goes to jail. No clue. So you've not spoiled anything for me. But I'm just about to start season 2 of that. So this is another one I'm a bit late to the party with. But that video, Disney versus Netflix, was brilliant. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to choose between the two. I think Disney Plus has probably got more content than that I would enjoy, because obviously you've got the Star Wars content. They've got Willow the movie on there, which I've been trying to track down for ages because I know there's a series based on the Willow movie coming out on Disney Plus, but I need to watch the original again because it's so many years since I saw it, and happily I found it on there. So yeah, as you said, there's very little to choose between them. They're both cracking streaming services without a doubt. What have we got here? I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Freak Treats. I've had a wander. I've been off this week, and I popped down there. I think it was Tuesday. I had to pick a couple of bits up from town. Popped into HMV. I never ever come out of HMV empty-handed. I'll be showing those off on the review video next week, I think. but it's an awesome place. There was nobody in. It was absolutely brilliant. It was nice and early in the morning. Wandered in. On the right hand side, you've got all of the stuff that I have never heard of. I have no idea what it is. It's obviously a huge scene because it takes up the whole right hand side of the shop. Down the middle, you've got stuff like t-shirts, which are amazing. Jason Voorhees t-shirts, Halloween t-shirts. It's the place for t-shirts. If you're looking for something movie related, it looks brilliant. You go to the back and you've got sort of Halloween masks, which are very elaborate. And on the left hand side is all of your like your Star Wars things, which is badges, box sets, figures. They are going to make an absolute mint with this place. It is amazing. I didn't come out with anything. I thought I was looking at the t-shirts and I thought, no, I'll hold off because I've just spent like 50 quid in HMV. But if I hadn't been in HMV, I would almost certainly have come out with a couple of t-shirts and maybe a mug or something like that. But if you get a chance to go and take a look, you'll be fascinated. I would definitely recommend going nice and early in the morning and probably on a weekday, like I did, because there was literally nobody in. But judging by that and judging by the coverage it's getting on Facebook, they are going to do really well with this. As I've said before, I'm surprised there hasn't been a place like this in Burton before. But yeah, I reckon it's going to do really well. So I look forward to seeing more posts from them. And I will be popping in at some point and picking up one of those Jason Lives t-shirt. And I believe they've even got one Crystal Lake Police. So I will be going in again. But yes, I've been and I am very, very impressed, even if I didn't recognise half of what was in there. It obviously appeals to a niche audience, and that niche audience will find it and spend much money in there, I promise. So what else have I got here? Yeah, Rob's Nostalgia Projects. I am on the cusp of ordering the 35mm box set, but I'm waiting on Chris to show me what exactly it is I'm going to be getting. Even though I've seen photographs, it's not really the same as watching somebody basically show you what you're going to get and tell you what it's like. The first box set that he's got going is, let me get this right, Straw Dogs, Return of the Living Dead, which I haven't seen for years, Maniac from 1980, which is a notorious slasher movie. I believe that's another one that got banned, and Suspiria, which is what most people consider to be Dario Argento's masterpiece. That's 1977. They remade it recently. I can't begin to imagine what it's going to look like. I saw Suspiria years ago. Really enjoyed it. Strange film. Lots of bright reds and stuff like that. Really good. But that's the first set that he's got going, and I think it's about 50 quid. And as soon as I've seen what Chris has got to say about it, I will be placing an order for that. Just a few bits of news. History of the World Part 2. Do you remember that? It was a Mel Brooks movie. Came out, I believe, early 80s. Cracking stuff. I mean, Mel Brooks, again, you can't go wrong. Blazing Saddles, High Anxiety, Young Frankenstein. Classic, brilliant comedies. And History of the World Part 1 was, again, brilliant. It's coming back. Mel Brooks is going to be narrating it. It's going to be a TV series. I just hope it's as good as the original movie and not watered down. If Mel Brooks has got anything at all to do with it, I can't see him allowing them to censor it, or he won't be stifled, but let's see what happens. But I'm certainly looking forward to seeing it. That's streaming on Disney Plus from March the 6th, so we ain't got long to wait for that one. The Barbie trailer. Oh, yeah. Yes, I know, Jason, that if it was Killer Barbie, I'd be all over it, but it isn't, is it? It is just, I can't even begin to imagine what this is going to be like, or what it's going to be about. To me, Barbie is a doll. That's it. It's one of those films that I don't see the point of, but maybe I'll be proved wrong. Even the trailer, watching the trailer, I watched it and thought, still don't get the point of it, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be one of the best films I've ever seen, but I can't see it. One that I read yesterday that was very interesting to me, and I'll come back with more of this when I find out more. There was a movie made in 1954. It was one of the creature features of the time. It was called Them, and it was based around a nest of giant ants. It is one of the classics alongside movies like Tarantula, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, that kind of thing, The Incredible Shrinking Man. These were all movies that were based around the nuclear age and what nuclear power could do to wildlife and stuff like that. The Black Scorpion, that was another one. Them is just the all-time classic, and it is getting the remake treatment from the guy, if I remember correctly, who made a movie called Werewolf by Night, which is streaming on Disney Plus at the moment and is getting blinding reviews, even though it's only just over an hour long. It's supposed to be some kind of a homage to the old black and white werewolf movies, so I will be taking a look at that. But it's got brilliant reviews, and he's going to be helming this remake of Them. Again, don't know what it's going to look like. I believe he's trying to get funding and writing and all that sort of thing got together before it gets greenlit. But yes, I will be looking forward to that. Let me just move up here. Here we go. Faulty Towers. Now, I should really be doing this on Retro TV Zone, but while I'm here, it was announced this week that Faulty Towers is to return, starring John Cleese and his daughter Camilla. I've got so much to say about this, but I've only got 3 minutes left. Faulty Towers, one of the classic British comedies of the 1970s, and we've always said you couldn't possibly make something like that now because the humour was so different back then. I believe a couple of the episodes have been removed from streaming services because of inappropriate language, that kind of thing. So again, how this is going to work, I can't imagine. What I've heard is that it's mostly going to be based around John Cleese and how he adjusts to the modern world, where you can't actually say and do the things that he did in 1975, which is, I believe, is when it first came out. I mean, obviously we don't hit waiters anymore, Spanish waiters. We don't insult them. We don't use racial slurs. Well, we don't unless we're talking about the titles of westerns, Chris. Let's put it that way. So how this is going to work, I don't know. I'm really kind of looking forward to it, but it really is one of those things that should not really be touched. I don't think. I don't think we should be attempting this, and if we're going to do it right. Please do it right, because you will. It won't wreck the memories that we've got of the originals. I've got them all on DVD, so I can watch them anytime. Let's see what it comes out like, but to be honest, I'm not holding out much hope on this one. Forgotten movies. We've had some crackers, haven't we? Daryl Hannah, Edward Norton, George Clooney, Colin Firth. I think I picked Another Country for that one. Richard Dreyfuss. Steve McCartney, you nominated a movie called The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, starring Richard Dreyfuss. My God, that is a difficult movie to find. There's a copy of it on YouTube, but it's got forced subtitles on it. I don't think it's available on DVD, and when you can find it, you're paying stupid prices for it. I think the one I saw was about £30-40. I'm not paying that for a DVD. It's not available to stream anymore. I can't find it on any of the download sites. This is an ultra rare movie. So it's just the fact that it's difficult to find, or pretty much impossible to find, has made me want to watch it even more. I love Richard Dreyfuss. I think his movies are brilliant. But this is one that I'd heard of. In the back of my head, I recognise the title, but I know nothing about it. So I will be taking a look at that if I can find it. Scarlett Johansson. Had to be that Alien movie. What was it called? Under the Skin. Disturbing as hell. But I really enjoyed it in a weird kind of way. Christian Bale. I think my choice for him would have been Empire of the Sun. Richard Gere, American Gigolo. That was one of my easiest ones. I remember American Gigolo coming out in 1980 and going to see it at the pictures, and it was not shocking, but it was raw stuff in its time. So yeah, I believe this is how up to date I am, is Gary Oldman. So I'll be posting mine for that one later. I've got one in mind, but I've got to beat Steve McCartney to it, because I know for a fact he's going to go for this one. So I'm going to try and beat him to it. Right, that's it for this week, folks. I'm coming up to 30 minutes. I'm about to film next week's Saturday review. I was going to post them both today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule that one to drop on YouTube at 9 o'clock next Saturday morning. So you'll have the Saturday review and you'll also have the Sunday service next week. So thanks ever so much for joining me, as per usual. If you've enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, share, whatever. I'll be back again next week. Have a brilliant week, folks, and thanks ever so much for joining me. Take care. I say ta-da.